Hey guys, welcome. Today, we're gonna install some AliExpress gauges. You might be wondering, why am I doing this to my car? So before we start, let me tell you the reason. I'm actually planning on upgrading my ECU to Holtec Elite 1500. And when I do that, I'm planning to get all the sensors from Holtec as well, so all the data go to the ECU directly. And it's easier for tuning the car and monitoring the engine performance at the same time. Between now and the final installation of everything, there is a time gap. At the same time, my old school HKS mechanical gauges are not functioning properly. The oil pressure gauge light went out, and the oil temperature gauge is not working properly. So the decision that I have to make is that whether should I just go spend $800 and $900 on set of new gauges, or just leave the broken ones in there until I get Holtec upgrade. During my research about which brand potentially I should get, I came across this on AliExpress. It's asking 1/3 of the price for fundamentally the same gauges. Honestly, I still don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't recommend buying knockoffs, but potentially for people who are on a budget, this information might be useful for you to decide whether or not you should risk it. You know, the famous saying, I did it so you don't have to. Well, with that being said, let's do the unboxing. Here they are. As you can see, the logo is all over the packaging. Like, it's just ridiculous. Let's start with the gauge. So all three gauges are the same. You just hook it up with different types of sensors, and you can, like the real Greddi, you can control them with the control unit, which I will show you guys later. Come on! As you can see, it actually looks okay. It feels okay too. What do we have in there? There. It comes with this pad, this little cup that you can bolt onto the gauge like this. And it has a data cable. Now, English manual. Like I said, all three gauges are the same. Just utilize different sensors. Now let's take a look at the control unit. I'm not sure if Greddi has ever made this kind of control unit. This is actually the picture from the authentic Greddi product. This is how they connect each of the gauges, and this is the control unit. Another manual. I think it's the same in every product. They just have the same menu in everything. And all the cables. And also this controller, as you can see. I already took the sensors out because I just want to make sure the threads on the sensors are the same with the JDM sensors, which is 1/8 PT, also known as BSPT. So it's tapered threads on these sensors. This is where I ran into the first problem. So this is the pressure sensor, as you might be able to see on here. It says 1/8 NPT. So it's not PT, it's NPT, which means this thread size is different from the JDM sensors. Naturally, I thought these two are also 1/8 NPTs. These are the temperature sensors. But funny enough, these are 1/8 PT or 1/8 BSPT. So I had to buy this adapter, which converts 1/8 NPT to 1/8 PT or BSPT. So it goes on like this, and then onto the oil sandwich plate. It took me like 2 hours to figure it out. So just a quick tip for you guys. How would you know if it's PT or NPT? Number one, you measure the diameter. I can put up a chart on the screen. Because it's tapered thread, the diameter here at the bottom of the thread is different from the top, and also it has a specific number. Same thing goes to NPT, and the diameters are different. So with a caliper, you would know which thread size it is. And the second way to figure out is to look at the angle from the root to crest to root. So for PT or BSPT, the angle from root to crest to root is 55 degrees instead of 60 degrees as it for NPT. So if you put them together like this, you can actually see the angle from root to crest to root is slightly different. Again, NPT is 60 degrees, a little bit wider, and PT or BSPT is 55. So the angle is narrower. Also, a quick side note, although sometimes you are able to join a BSPT male to NPT female, because of the difference in thread shape, a spiral leak will happen. So although you can put it in, but it will not seal. Also, these sensors look really generic. And for example, this temperature sensor, this is how it came with the kit. There's no support. And this is what I did to provide a little bit support. This is the cable came with a temperature sensor. Look at this. It's missing the bullet connector. Fix the connector. All right. Let's get to work. Water temperature sensors removed. Because coil radiator does have this 1/8 PT port, so I won't be needing this old adapter. So I'm going to replace the pipe. New hose. Hey guys, it's actually the second day here. I couldn't finish it yesterday. The top port was originally for the pressure sensor, and the lower port was for the temperature sensor. So because of the size of the pressure sensor, I couldn't fit it in because you can see there slightly to the left, that's the OEM oil pressure sensor clip. It's blocking the way. And so I had to switch the location. I don't know how that's gonna affect the readings. But again, after I switched the location, now you can see on the left, that's a starter motor. And the space between the lower port and the starter motor is just not enough to fit in new pressure sensor with the fitting or the adapter. And the pancake also has ports on the right side there, but it's right against the back of the alternator. So now I've ordered some new fittings just to see how I'm gonna try to fit the sensors in. Those fittings gonna arrive tomorrow, so we can't do anything now. So today, instead of moving forward with the sensor installation, I'm going to make a bracket for new gauges because the old HKS gauges are 52 millimeter diameters for the body. So the bracket came with these gauges is just way too small. So I need to figure out how am I going to actually make it work, make it look good and make it practical. But I still want to retain the old position for the gauges because I want to keep my dash clean. I don't want to mount them on the dash or in the vents, which is the way that a lot of people do. So yeah, let's figure out, see if I can recycle any of the existing parts. All right, So this is the original HKS bracket with a plastic face panel. I've removed it. What I plan to do is to build a platform for the 3 gauges because, as you can see, the size of the new gauges are just too big to fit in the single DIN slot. Okay, this is the finished product. I had to use a piece of plastic to make the faceplate instead of steel because my cheap flux core welder just couldn't stop burning through the sheet metal. Looks a little bit rough, but it will do. All right, guys, the fittings are here. So in order to get out of the way of the OEM oil pressure sensor, which sits roughly here, I'm gonna see if I can use this kind of like MPT to MPT extender to move the sensor a little bit backwards so it avoids getting in contact with the OEM oil pressure sensor. Or just use the 90 degrees elbow MPT to PT or BSPT to do it like this. We'll see. Maybe we'll have to stack fittings or adapters. I just have to make it work in order to make it work. Let's go take a look. So I finally got the sensors on. I had to use the lower port for the pressure sensor with the 90 degrees elbow fitting, angled upwards because I need to make room for the intake manifold support bracket because the starter motor on the left is blocking everything. So, and I put the temperature sensor to the upper port and all hooked up. I've finished the water temperature sensor already. So now just run the cable to the cabin. Okay, so I found another problem. See this pin here on the left of the connector? That's the one was installed properly. The one on the right, you can see the pin is still in there, which means the wire was not even inserted into the pin. I'm gonna have to fix that. Fixed it. Okay, I think I've connected everything and the gauges are plugged in as well. Let's turn on the car and see what's gonna happen. Finger crossed. There we go. Woo! So colorful. See that? So the next step is to top up the engine oil and coolant. Actually start the car and see if the sensors are working. All right, 24 hours later, the thread sealant should be cured. Let's actually start the car and see if the sensors are working properly. My key. Okay. I just got this fear every time I start the car, something gonna break. Not sure if you guys are the same. Everything working now. Just gotta let it run for 5 minutes or so. Okay, the car's been idling for a little bit and it's all warmed up. Sorry about the hissing sound from the exhaust. I had to install the silencer temporarily just so it don't get too loud. It's pretty late. Everything is working properly, it seems. They're reading the proper temperature and oil pressure seems fine. I've checked the car, nothing's leaking. So is it safe to say we have a success? Maybe. Now let's just tidy up things in the cabin. Small things like this give you a feeling that every time you touch your car, it's getting better bit by bit. This type of joy is easy to access. It can happen on a daily basis, and you're doing it yourself. And in my opinion, this is why our hobbies are keeping us sane in this crazy world. Alright guys, I've finished up the installation. Everything seems to be working properly and nothing's leaking, which is the good news. Then now it comes to my final verdict. Do I like it? Yeah, a little bit. Would I recommend it? Absolutely not. It took me 4 days to finish up the installation. Not because the parts are badly made. It's just because it's too generic that you have to make things work or fit on your car. Like I said, just to make it work. Would I do it again? Probably not. I would say if you have the money or if you can save up enough money, do buy the authentic brand product. It also supports their business. But if you're on a tight budget and you have your nugget just trying to make it run while monitoring what the engine is up to, by all means, like it's $200 versus $1,000. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I had fun. Hope you had fun watching. I will see you next time. Have a good one. All right, and now I need to go find my drill. I don't know where it went.